The letters USGS and words Science for a Changing World appear in white, then fade to black.
Hello and welcome to this instructional video on the use and capabilities of the StreamStats batch processor. When you first visit the StreamStats webpage, you will see a black header with the USGS logo on the left, the app title StreamStats, and 4 buttons that open pop-up windows for the batch processor, StreamStats report, about information, and help. The left side of the page has a sidebar that walks a user through using the main StreamStats application, but this functionality will not be covered in this video. The remainder of the screen is a large map focused on the continental United States. The large map features a set of expandable exploration tools in the upper left-hand corner and a layers dialog box in the upper right-hand corner of the map, with expandable menus of different spatial layers that can be turned on and off. When the batch processor opens, the foreground darkens and a smaller screen appears. This is the batch processor pop-up window, which contains 3 tabs: the Submit Batch tab, the Batch Status tab, and the Download StreamGrids tab. The Submit Batch tab opens by default. Let's go over the instructions for submitting a batch. The first step in submitting a batch is to create a point shapefile. This can be done by downloading a stream grid if you haven't already done so from the Download Grids tab, which can be accessed by clicking on the tab or the hyperlink in step 1. For this example, we have already downloaded the North Carolina stream grid, unzipped it, and created a point shapefile using that stream grid. It's important to note that for the best accuracy, your points should be coincident with the stream grid used by StreamStats for delineation. Some other requirements for your shapefile are that it must have an ID field that uniquely identifies each point. It must be a point shapefile. Polyline, polygon, and multi-point geometries cannot be processed. Only the first 250 points will be processed, so if you submit a shapefile with more than 250 points, only the first 250 will be processed. You will need to resubmit another batch for the remaining points. Additionally, points outside the requested region will not be processed successfully and will result in an error for that point. Now, let's take a closer look at the form. You will see several required pieces of information needed for submitting a batch that are highlighted in yellow. You may have noticed that the Submit Batch button at the bottom of the form is grayed out as well. The first step is to select the state or region that coincides with your area of interest. For today's example, we will be using North Carolina. When the state or region is selected, note that the Basin Delineations checkbox becomes automatically checked and grayed out. This checkbox is required for each batch. Next, fill in the ID field, which is used to uniquely identify each point. Hover over the help icon for a clear explanation of what the ID field represents. In our case, it will be local ID. Enter the email address associated with this batch and upload your shapefile in zipped formats. Once all the required fields have been filled out, the Submit Batch button will no longer be grayed out, and you can submit the batch. In addition to basin delineations, you can select flow statistics and basin characteristics for computation. If you check the Compute Flow Statistics box, you can select various flow statistics that can be calculated. Notice that when one of these flow statistics is checked, the Compute Basin Statistics checkbox and some basin characteristics are automatically selected. This is because the basin characteristics are required to compute the flow statistics you've selected. You can choose as many flow statistics and basin characteristics as you need, including using the Select All, Unselect All buttons for both lists. After completing the form and selecting the desired flow statistics and basin characteristics, you can submit the batch. Click on the Submit Batch button and look for a green pop-up message in the lower right with the text, "The batch was submitted successfully." You will be notified by email when results are available, which indicates a successful submission, or a red pop-up message detailing an error with the submission. When the batch submits successfully, the form will reset itself, and you can submit additional batches. You will also receive a green message in the batch processor window informing you that you will receive an email with your batch details. A subsequent email will be sent to your email address with your batch details. Now, let's move on to checking the batch status. You can see the status of your batch by clicking on the Batch Status tab. If you have already submitted a batch, your email address will be auto-filled, and any batches you've previously submitted will be shown in the queue below. If you left the website after submitting a batch and you want to check your batch status later, simply open the batch processor and click on the Batch Status tab. Note that the email address box is yellow because it is a required field. To check the status, enter your email address and click Check Status. Look in the batch ID column in the table below to find which batch you want to see the status of. The batch status will appear in the status column. The next column to the right is the time submitted column, which gives the date and time the batch was submitted. All times in this table are in the local time of your web browser. The next two columns to the right are the time started column, which will be populated when a batch starts running, and the time completed column, which will populate when the batch finishes running. The next column to the right has the file name of the points sent to the batch processor. To the right is the results column, which will also be blank to start. Upon completion of a batch, a blue hyperlink will appear in the results column that will allow you to download your results. To the right of the results column is the state region column, which shows what region was selected in the submit batch form. The final four columns, left to right, are number points requested, number points successful, number points partially successful, and number points failed. These columns give information about the processing of the submitted points. If your batch is still in progress and you want to check for updates, you can hit the refresh button to get an idea of the processing progress. Once your batch has been successfully completed, click on the blue hyperlink in the results column to download your points and integrate them into your GIS workflow. That concludes our tutorial on using the StreamStats batch processor. If you have any further questions or need assistance, please feel to reach out using the Help pop-up window.
The letters USGS in Word Signs for a Changing World appear in white.